everyone, this is Phil with Phil's Osophy. I got a story for you. I'd like to dedicate this episode to all the epileptics out there, all the people who are suffering from this illness, because this story is about my first seizure, and it's a crazy one. And I just got to tell you, people, I know what you're going through. Hang in there and be tough, and I mean it. And what does that mean? Do everything that you can to put a smile on your face. The people who are listening, who are the normal people, they don't understand what epilepsy is about. Look it up. You get mood swings, you get anxiety, you lose focus, you get catatonic and you stare at people. You can't function, you can't hold conversations sometimes. It's a horrible, horrible illness. You know when you grow up as a child and they tell you, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you get like this web of ideas that you want to be. The moment you're epileptic, you got to start crossing those things out, because epilepsy kills some dreams, but also it opens up other dreams. Anyways, first thing I want to tell you, I have nocturnal epilepsy, frontal lobe, and it's pretty good. I was diagnosed when I was 16 when this first seizure happened. Now I'm 34, and for the past 7 years I haven't had one seizure. So it's very controlled. I'm on Trileptal, and it works. I've been on Trileptal since I was 16, so it works. There's just there's adjustments that I have to make to my life. Like I mentioned before, that there's things that I can't do that normal people can do. I can't drink a lot of alcohol. I can maybe have one beer, and even that will make a horrible day for me. I'm talking about I can have one beer and not have a seizure, but will it ruin the next day for me? Yeah, I won't be myself. I can't stay up late. I can't pull all-nighters. I can't work jobs unless it's first shift, So these are all things that fellow epileptics have to deal with. Anyways, let me tell you this story of what happened to me, because this is fucking crazy. And one of the two of the main reasons why I'm telling this story is because, first of all, it's kind of a healing thing for me to share this story with the world. And the reason why is because I feel like one of those people, how like it's 2022, there's so many people coming out there who have been victimized, whether it's sexual assault, physical assault, and they're coming out and they're letting their story known, because there's this trauma that bored this hole in your chest, and it's just sitting there and not healing. And by talking about it, it helps you. So I'm kind of doing that. I feel like this story needs to be heard. It wasn't heard. A few of my close friends know about this, and I've got witnesses. I've got myself to tell you that this did happen. Legally, it's not on paper anywhere because, well, you'll find out why. Because the police. Anyways, so here's what happened. Let me give you a little bit of context about myself and kind of where I was in my life and why everything. Anyways, so I was born and raised in Chicago, and I was going through a really dark time, because basically what happened is, English was my second language, so my whole life I was playing catch up. When English is your second language, your whole life you're playing catch up, because you're sort of like, first you got to learn how to just small talk. Oh, great weather today. Right? You know what I say? And then you got to move on to, trying to just communicate like not a creep. And then you got to move on to trying to fit in. And then you finally move on to trying to have the courage to make friends. And so I was always playing catch up. And finally, when I got into high school, I was caught up. I had a great circle of friends. I was on the football team. I had a band. I had a few best friends. I had a girlfriend. I was looking for jobs. It was like life was looking, it was like a shiny, bright sun for me, And then my mom was like, oh, we're going to move. We're going to for business. And it ruined me. To this day, I get like nightmares about it. I'm telling I even though I'm smiling, I urge anybody listening to this, if you have a fucking kid, do not move in high school. It will traumatize them for life. So yeah, I all this shit that I've been working for, that I've been, is gone now. It's up in smoke. So I moved to Park Ridge. Park Ridge is a fucking migraine. It's where Hillary Clinton is from, and everybody there is just like her. Now, anybody who's ready to shut this off because they think I'm like getting into politics, here's the funny thing. I don't care about politics. I've never voted in my life. I hate Hillary Clinton because she reminds me of every fucking person in that town. These waspy, yuppie, fake fucking white people that just... They're super nice and charming to your face, and then they stab you in the fucking back. That's how all of them are in that town. And it's, I remember driving there. I'm like, is this an Abercrombie and Fitch commercial or like auditions for Dawson's Creek? It was just like, and the other, so the biggest difference why I couldn't fit in was because I grew up in this neighborhood where it was really old school family values. You know, it was a community. Everybody on the block knew each other. Everybody respected each other. If you disrespected someone, you got hit. You know, and it was very loving and caring. Like, you know, if somebody a mile away had a barbecue, everybody went to their house. It was a very tight-knit community. And Park Ridge is just like, it was all rich people that don't want to have to do with anybody. All their kids are stealing their drugs. I mean, the year that I fucking started school there, they won the state championship, and the next day the quarterback OD'd on heroin. I mean, I'm just like, I think I just tried weed before, and I'm just like, what the fuck? The quarterback is doing heroin, you know? Anyways, so I didn't fit in. The reason why I mention all this is because the cops there, because of how many rich people are there, if you were slightly different, stuck out like a sore thumb, you had fucking trouble. You had trouble. I mean, if you had a scratch on your car, they're pulling you over. If you're just a black person walking through, you're getting cuffed. That's how those cops were, because they're trying to keep it this Hillary Clinton community, you know? So what happened to me is I was going to plan to go to a show with my best friend from Chicago named John. I knew him for 25 years. To this day, I know him. That's how long he actually was the first person who let me copy off his homework when I couldn't speak English. So that's why I know him so long. We were planning on going to this epic, violent metal show, Slayer, Hatebreed, and Madball, and we were going to get drunk before it. So we did get drunk. We drank about half the bottle. Like we split, we had like a gallon vodka, you know, those Skol nasty vodkas. We drank like half a bottle, and then we went to the show. It wasn't as violent as I thought. You know, I had, you know, a bruise on my arm or two on my leg, but that was it. We came, it was a great show. We came back, we were, you know, happy, we were excited. So we go to my room, and I remember having trouble falling asleep. John passed out right away, but me, I was like, I'm feeling hot, you know? And I thought it was, you know, it was summer, but it wasn't the summer. It was, you know, I drank half a bottle of vodka. I've been beating myself up with other people in the mosh pit for 2 hours, and it was 2 a.m. So it's like, yeah, I'm going to feel not too well. And here's where the story takes a twist, because I can tell you 100% what I know, and then I'm going to tell you from the witness perspective of my mother and my friend of what happened after. What I remember is I wake up the next morning, and I started to get this really hard, like painful spasm in my left butt cheek. I literally, like, imagine like you wake up and you're like, what the hell? Like right away, my butt was just like vibrating, and I was like, what's going on here? And then my whole body started curling in. I was just like, oh. It reminds me of the witches in the movie Suspiria. I was just like convulsing, and my whole body was just like bending in different directions. It was horrible. And here's the thing. I know that I mentioned in the beginning of the video that I have nocturnal epilepsy. It's what I was diagnosed with. The thing that's rare about my seizures is that, one, they only happen at night, and they happen when I wake up, and two, most people when they have a seizure, it's sort of like they either have an aura or they feel it coming, and then their brain shuts off. It's like you got a factory in your head, and you know, the foreman's like, all right, we're going home for today, and he just clicks the switch and you pass out. I passed out from the pain. I remember the last thing was me pushing all the air out of my lungs and then passing out. I was like, and then passed out, you know? So my friend, okay. So my perspective, yeah, I had this thing and then I passed out and then I woke up for a split second in the ambulance. And then something happened where I was like panicking, and then I was up for like 2 seconds, and then like I got knocked out again. And then I woke up. I'll never forget this image in my mind. It's one of the saddest, like devastating images that I remember. I'm in the hospital, strapped to a bed, tube down my throat, electrodes all over my head. My mom and my brother are standing in front of me crying. And then her boyfriend's there, like, the guy hated me and he was concerned. That's how messed up it was. A person who hated me was actually concerned for me. And I should add, I had 14 stitches on my eyebrow. 3 of my teeth were cracked in half. I got crowns on 3 of my teeth, literally in half. I'm not like, it's not like the edge. And I had and the worst part, my wrists. I don't know if you can kind of see. You see how it's like shiny right there? I don't know if you can. I had both my wrists were ground to the bone from handcuffs. Yeah. Can you guess what happened? So that's how I woke up and can you imagine how scary that is? I mean, just take a second and imagine how scary that is. You go to sleep, you had a great night, you wake up, horrible pain, horrible Charlie horse spasms in your whole body. And then you wake up in the hospital like you just got hit by a metro train. Stitches, broken teeth, ground to the bone wrists, body covered in blood and cuts, bruises all over on your back, on the back of your legs, on the back of your hamstring. Like it was, I actually wasn't as depressed at the time when I was in the hospital because I was kind of like glad that I could breathe, that I had a moment to exchange oxygen because I was in so much pain that I was just like, you know, it was the kind of feeling like when you run, like when you sprint for like 2 minutes and then you get to rest. That's how I felt. Anyways, so that's my story. Now, here's from the perspective of my best friend and my mom. And yes, this is all about the Park Ridge Police. What happened is, so side note, my other best friend is a fireman, and he told me for sure, because he went to EMT school first, that when you call 911, the ambulance is supposed to show up first and treat anybody that's harmed, and then the police to write up a bullshit report. That's the truth. I mean, if there's 2 guys shooting at each other, 2 gangbangers shooting at each other, doesn't matter if they both got shot. They have to get treated first, and then they go to jail. So my friend called 911, and sure enough, the police showed up in a snap. They showed up in a fucking snap because they don't got shit to do in this little fucking Hillary Clinton town. So they showed up in a snap. They walk into my room, and I had like here's what I hear from my friend, that they were shocked about my room. I was a fucking little metalhead troublemaker. I had all these upside down crosses with mannequin heads and fucking, you know, like these devil worship, these fucking black metal posters all over the place. So the cops came in there and they're like, oh, he's having an overdose. This fucking junkie's having an overdose. And my friend's like, no, I don't think he is, because we have never done anything more extreme than weed. And we didn't even do that last night. All we had was vodka. So he's definitely not a junkie. He's like, no, he's having an overdose, and get the fuck out of the room. So they pushed my friend out of the room. My mom's grasping on me, crying her eyes out, because she's like, my child's going to suffocate. He's going to die. He's going to die. Here's another thing I want to tell you. So when someone is having a seizure, you're supposed to lay them on their side. Not straight up because they'll choke on their tongue, not straight down planking because, I mean, I'm pretty sure that bends your throat, you know, so that you choke. On the side. these fucking cops put me on my face and tried handcuffing me while I'm having a seizure. And this whole time, they're beating the crap out of me. My mom is trying to run in. They're like, if you don't fucking leave the room, we're arresting you. That's a police order. And they're beating the shit out of me. So I was like trying to get up. I was in survival mode, you know? I mean, if you can pick the whole time, my friend said it was disturbing because I was shaking the whole time. I was in the middle of a seizure, you know? I looked like somebody who never went skinny dipping before, and they just dove into like an Arctic sea and then got out. Like the whole time I'm just like that's how much I was shaking because I'm having a fucking seizure. Like I'm shivering, and they keep trying to handcuff me. So then they tried standing me up. And I had already gotten like my head split open by a nightstick and my teeth broken. So I was like already like getting angry, you know? So when they stood me up and then tried to handcuff me, I guess I picked up the fattest fucking guy and threw his head into the wall, and kind of like a suplex, you know? And then they, once again, with the nightsticks, beating the crap out of me. So then I tried running like I'm shivering into my bathroom, and I accidentally ran like the lady cop tried to tackle me, and when she tried to tackle me, she went head first. She like slammed me into the wall, didn't realize that my mirror was behind it, so she cut herself up, and it cut up my chest. And so and then they finally cuffed me, and they beat the shit out of me until I stopped moving, George Floyd style. You know how he was having him down, and he's like, stop fucking moving. He's like, I can't breathe. I got George Floyded, basically. And yeah, so that's what happened with that. Now, how do you deal with that? You know, to be honest, I will say that I have little trauma only because I didn't witness it. I'm sure if I got beat up by a gang of fat fucking obese cops and I was conscious, I'm sure it would stick with me. But I kind of just missed the most traumatizing parts, luckily. You know, I guess that's the only thing I can say fortunate about this story. Anyways, aftermath. Everybody who knew about this, everyone at my high school knew about this. And they were like, why don't you go get a lawyer? Why don't you go to a lawyer? I'm like, why? Because I'm poor. My family's poor. We're not you Hillary Clinton youth. We don't have fucking money for a lawyer. And even when we tried, because my mom's boyfriend was like, no, we're getting a fucking lawyer. They went to the police station to get a police report and to get any investigative, you know, information to gather paperwork for the lawyer. And the cops were like, oh, you want to fucking try and sue us? Are you serious? You don't have any fucking witnesses. Your fucking shaky son was unconscious, and we told you and the other fucking kid, his stupid friend, to stay out of the fucking room. So you disobeyed police orders. You really want to go into court with that? So they scared the shit out of my mom, and we never pursued it. Now, why would I make this video any fucking longer at 18 minutes? Well, because let me tell you what happened afterwards. You know, it stuck with me. Once and you know when you have somebody you hate, and be honest, bro, we all have somebody we hate that once in a while we look them up on Facebook or on Google and we're like, I wonder if they're still alive. I wonder how ugly they look, you know? So once in a while I would look up like Park Ridge Police, you know, brutality or beating. You know, I wanted to see, I knew what cop beat the shit out of me. I'm not going to say that because I don't want to get in some serious trouble. But, and it was kind of funny is what made me angrier is how ugly this cop looked. I don't mean to shit on cops. There's good cops out there, but this guy, he looked like Kingpin from X-Men. He was like 400 pounds, bald to the fucking skin, and he had his face looked like Al Capone-ish, but then he had like a Louis Anderson gap in his teeth, and his nose was like this. He actually looked like one of the pigs in the Pink Floyd The Wall movie. And the reason why I say this is because, can you imagine the rage in me when I went to go look up, hey, did this fucking cop get caught yet? Did he get, you know, what goes around comes around. Did it come around for him yet? And sure enough, like, I would see all these awards that Park Ridge would hold. They'd be like, let's honor our local heroes. You want to worship fucking Superman and Batman and Spider-Man? Let's make trading cards for our local heroes. And he was at the top. And I almost wanted to bite my computer screen. I wanted to bite a chunk out of it. I was so angry when I saw his Louis Anderson fat pig face on a trading card that he's still getting away with shit. Now, here's what's crazier that I'm going to tell you. To end this off, you can look all this up, what I'm about to say. Now, remember how I said that unfortunately my family didn't have money for a lawyer, right? 5 years after what happened to me, here's another article I found. There were 2 kids in Park Ridge. One of them was like 14, the other one was 15, and they were just walking down a side street, like the middle of the street. Nobody's out there because it was like 1 a.m, and they're like drinking beers and they're just being loud and throwing garbage. Well, there was an off-duty Park Ridge cop, and he was like waxing his car because his wife didn't want to fuck him, and that's how he's getting his anger out. It's Park Ridge. There's no black people to shoot. You know what I mean? So how else is a cop going to get his anger out? So anyways, he's waxing his car, and these 2 kids are walking down the block, and one of them throws a rock, and it like ricochets off his driveway and hits right by him. It didn't hit him, but it went right by him. He got so pissed, he ran after them, punches one kid in the face. The kid gets knocked out, hits the back of his head on the curb, starts going into a seizure. Then he clotheslines the other kid. Same thing. He hits his neck on the back of a curb or on like a bump in the road, and passes out. And what does he do? Oh no, I fucked up. I didn't mean it, man. I'm a good guy. I serve and I protect. So he calls his fucking buddies to try and cover up the situation, right? Sure enough, the one kid has epilepsy now. The other kid is paralyzed from the waist down. And what do you know? Those kids were Park Ridge kids. So they had rich family. They had rich parents. So they got a lawyer, and they tried to go after the police station. Now, it was in the newspapers. It was, but here's the thing. For anybody who's been through a trial, my neighbor got into, I should say, not me with him. My neighbor got into a fight with me, and that happened in 2019. I'm still going to court for it 3-4 years later. So trials take a long fucking time, and cops know this. So this family, I read this on a forum because they're not, they're not legally able to share this information anywhere else because they're in a trial. So they started the trial, and the police, according to this anonymous person, the police took down this family's name. So say the family's name was like the Taylors, right? They took down the Taylors. They planted the cops in every direction around their house, and every fucking member of their family got like 21 tickets. Like literally within 1 month, they owed like 20 grand in tickets. Because when you're a cop, you can fucking pull over somebody for anything. You can be like, your light bulb on your license plate is out, or you didn't make a turn signal here, or you were too far to the left when you were making a turn. It's so easy. And sure enough, they fucking scared him away like they did to my mom. Anyways, it's almost 25 minutes. That's my story. That was my first seizure. Luckily, I have everything under control as far as epilepsy. I still go to see my doctor every year or two. And as long as I do the things that I should do that sort of help preventing seizures, like going to sleep on time, having a steady sleep schedule, not drinking alcohol, not eating too many sugary things. I know it's hard to do that like around Halloween or Christmas. Like those are all things that affect my epilepsy, but I'm doing well. And that's what matters. That's my story. I was happy to share it with you. Please let me know what you think of it in the comments, or you can like or subscribe to my page. And yeah, peace be with you, my friends.